Hey everyone, it's Ollie here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's good to be here with you all. I felt like I'd just take the time today to come out into nature. I'm just in a field just by the side of the farm here. And I wanted to record a video, a continuation on the star system series, which I started a few videos ago, where I talked about Sirius and the Sirian star system. If you haven't watched that video, I would highly recommend going back and watching it. It was really fun to make, and hopefully you enjoy it. But for today, I want to talk about a different star system, still within the Milky Way galaxy, which is the Pleiades star cluster, the grouping of stars within the Pleiades constellation, as we would perceive it and experience it. So I thought I'd kind of break the basic video structure down into 3 sections, starting with a little bit of just general information about the Pleiades, and then the connection the Pleiades has with the Earth and the Galactic Federation and Ascension, and finally to talk about some of the starseed traits of Pleiadians on this planet incarnate as human beings. So, as I mentioned, the Pleiades is a cluster of stars. It's often referred to as the Seven Sisters, which refers to the 7 main stars in the star group. However, there are more stars within the cluster and constellation. The energy there is primarily of divine feminine mother goddess consciousness. However, there are some star systems, Celano and Taygeta, which have a more masculine, divine masculine orientation. The general frequency you will find there in terms of light, perceivable light as we would experience it, would be of a light blue quality, crystalline blue, dolphin blue, sky blue, although there are other frequencies of blue light going all the way into deep blues and indigo type colors. There's also green frequency and pink frequency, as well as some more metallic iridescent silvers and golds. In terms of dimensions, when I speak of dimension here, I'm talking about dimensions in space, which could be understood as the frequential containment for consciousness experience, within which light and souls and beings of the source can experience and express themselves. In terms of dimensions, we're starting out in the Pleiades in the 4th dimension and going all the way up to the 12th dimension. And in terms of density, which here I understand as vibration, or you could understand it as level of consciousness, and often this is closely associated with level of evolution of a soul. In terms of frequency or density, the Pleiades system starts out in the 5th density and moves all the way up to the 11th density. Pleiadians that exist within the different star systems, star groups, planetary worlds, and also non-physical realms are known as master healers. The Pleiades has played a huge role in this sector of the universe with regards to healing and recovering from soul trauma. I may have spoken about the Lyran Holocaust in my Sirius video, as well as potentially another video on this channel. But for basic context, there was a star system that was referred to as Lyra that experienced a mass genocide, Holocaust type experience, a system invasion by a parasitic force that is not of the light, and there was a lot of soul trauma as a consequence of that, and the Pleiades played a very significant role in helping those souls to heal and recover after this genocide because of this trauma that they experienced. Beings from Lyra also populated much of the Pleiades star systems as well. So you find that very pure, very ancient, very innocent, feminine frequency of Lyra also in the Pleiades. Pleiadians are transmuters of darkness. As I will get to later in this video, one of the core key traits of starseeds from the Pleiades is that they are transmuters of darkness. So in the systemic sense, if that's the right word, in the Pleiades and throughout the Milky Way galaxy, Pleiadians are also helping to evolve consciousness by transmuting lower frequency energy into a higher frequency, and assist other beings who are looking to go through evolutionary shifts, to work through old karma, denser material, as well as this soul retrieval and trauma healing that I just spoke about. In the Pleiades systems, there are some physical worlds as we could perceive them. Of course, the understanding going deeper that there is no physicality, it's only energy, it's only life energy. But there are beings who, to our perceptions, would be taking on a form-based appearance that would look humanoid. You may have seen artwork or heard information as to tall, slender, fair-skinned, Nordic type beings with very deep aquamarine eyes. I'm not referring to the deceptive, malevolent Nordic races here, which you may have heard about in association with the Earth. I'm speaking here to how some of the Pleiadians would appear to us with these kinds of features, the fair hair, being tall, slender, blue eyes. You would find this in Taygeta and Asterope, to name two examples. In another star system in the Pleiades, Merope, you could expect to find beings that would have more of a aquatic humanoid hybrid type appearance, beings that are able to express and experience themselves in more of a terrestrial way as well as an aquatic way, which has some connections in ways. Merope has strong connections also to Sirius, and beings there who also take on this kind of more hybrid aquatic humanoid appearance. And of course there is connections to the dolphins that are expressing themselves on Earth right now. And you will also find in the Pleiades beings that have no form at all, that you may call etheric beings or just beings of light, that to our perceptions and our way of experiencing them would be, how can I describe this? They would appear more liquid, more fluid, as in their consciousness takes more of a waveform expression. And beings of this kind also often, when they get into the higher frequencies of experience, ninth density and above, also form collective consciousnesses, if that's the right word for it. Many beings choosing to express themselves and congregate as one collective, made up of many different spectrums of frequency and light, incredibly beautiful. And there are some very, very ancient, very wise collectives in the Pleiades and these higher frequencies that are helping the universe to grow, assisting with much healing in the Milky Way and also with the Earth, which I'll come to now. Speaking of the Galactic Federation, within the 5th density and 7th density frequency bands, the Pleiadians, namely from Asterope, Merope, and Solano and Taygeta, are very, and also Alcyone, are very strongly associated with the Galactic Federation and the planetary ascension process that is going on with the human race and also our divine Mother Earth right now. There are many Pleiadian beings from these frequencies that sit on various councils of the Galactic Federation, with strong ties especially to Arcturus, as well as to Sirius and Orion. These are examples of the systems and groups of beings that are part of the Galactic Federation. The Pleiadians sit on many of these councils, are very directly involved in overseeing the volunteer program. And as a consequence of this, as I spoke about in previous videos, there has been a process of beings from these higher frequential realms, the Pleiades being one such, that have chosen to incarnate as human beings in order to seed light here, in order to elevate the frequency, expose darkness, and bring a message of truth and hope to the human race. As I also mentioned, just for a bit of context in a previous video, this incarnation process, or star seeding, started predominantly from the 1950s onwards. This would have been the first wave of ascension, followed by a second wave in the 1970s, and then a third wave in the 1990s, and now we're kind of into the fourth wave and beyond right now. Pleiadians have been star seeding in order to help with this shift since the 1950s, and even coming before some of the forerunners to get a sense of the field and the collective energies here and to relay information. So what are some of the traits of Pleiadian starseeds who have chosen at this time to take a human experience? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the Pleiadians are master empaths and energy transmuters. So one of their key roles is to transmute stagnant, stale, non-serving, negative or low frequency energy, and by taking this into their energy field and bringing down the light of the Pleiades and anchoring that frequency into the earth, the energies that maybe have served a function up until this point are able to be processed and cleared and released, where otherwise maybe there would have been difficulties in doing this within the collective because of imposed control measures or limiting beliefs or any kind of like mental impositions. The Pleiadian frequency, or the Pleiadian human, is not so limited or blocked in this sense to transmute. What they take in often doesn't get stuck, although it can do if, let's say, the person hasn't reached a certain level of like awareness or an understanding of how to maintain their energy. There can be, issues with maybe accumulating negativity, But Pleiadians have that natural affinity to cleanse and clear and transmute and take negativity within themselves and transmute it into a higher frequency, using it for evolution, actually, for ascension. It's a very pro-evolutionary thing, this transmutation process. However, there can be issues that arise. Pleiadians can become easily overwhelmed. They're very sensitive individuals, sensitive to frequency, to energy, to noise, to other people's thought patterns and emotions, and it can be a lot for Pleiadian starseeds to navigate within this denser frequency field of this planet. And also because of this natural ability and affinity to transmute, Pleiadian starseeds can often find themselves taking on other people's unwanted emotions, either too much or unnecessarily, or even attracting, because of the openness of their energy field, darker, should we say, like narcissistic people, or even non-human entities that would look to feed off of their light, or rather to try to limit their expression in some way, because the darkness will be able to sense the power and the immensity of a light, a quality of light like that, and will seek to try to, not always, but can look to try to infiltrate or limit that person through some sort of control or programming, or I'm thinking of toxic relationships here. I've heard that very frequently, that Pleiadians often find themselves like in very toxic relationships because they want to see the good in people, they want to try to help, but the narcissist in that circumstance will try to limit and control and even try to feed off some of the energy that person is generating, because of it being of a more enlightened quality. So there's an invitation for Pleiadians to bring their energy back into themselves, to work with boundaries, to learn how to say no, to let go of potentially looking to help others overtly and just inhabit that role of being a natural transmuter and trusting that friendships or relationships that serve them will come. And if they get the sense that they're not comfortable, often that's a good sign that a circumstance, a situation, a person is not good for them if they're feeling especially drained. So yeah, that's kind of the transmuting sort of empathic side. Like I said, Pleiadians are very, very sensitive, even in the human form, to energy and frequency and emotion. They can have very, very deep connections with people, although sometimes struggling in social settings or relationships, as well as having a very deeply intimate and sensitive relationship with the planet Gaia. It will be my sense that Pleiadians have also come here not just to awaken the human race, but also to awaken the Divine Mother as our planet out of a state of sleep that she's been in for the past 1,000 years or so, since the last golden age. Pleiadians are also here to enter into a very intimate, very sensual, very loving relationship with the earth, and to ground and seed the light that they bring here from these higher frequency realms into Gaia, so that she can remember that she's also part of this interplanetary network connecting her to planets and worlds in the Pleiades, as well as bridging that connection from her and the human race to the Galactic Federation. I was looking for a segue then, but it kind of slipped my mind. That's okay. Pleiadians, when they are incarnate as starseeds, a few of the roles that they may take on could be as healers, given their natural affinity to heal others, to have empathy, to sense what is going on with a person very clearly, and in being able to sense very clearly what's going on with a person, therefore they will have the intuition and perhaps the knowing or the insight that others wouldn't, as to know how to help them to heal, whether that's via hands-on healing or some sort of teaching or guidance. Pleiadians can also inhabit roles such as spiritual teacher or spiritual coach, finding themselves in holistic roles, being interested in herbalism, working with the land, gardening, and it's as inhabiting, or should I say, in inhabiting a role here on Earth, which may be difficult for Pleiadian starseeds to do at times, having that yearning to return home, like many starseeds do, to the Pleiades, in inhabiting and choosing to inhabit a conscious role here on Earth, and following the love and the light and this yearning to bring consciousness, that they will actually become more grounded here on planet Earth. Speaking from my own experience as a Pleiadian starseed, having very strong connections to Merope myself, I have found it quite difficult to find that balancing point, or rather, where to have my focus during this human experience. You know, what is grounding? What does it mean to be grounded? Are questions that would often arise in my mind. How can I be here and feel balanced and healthy and whole within myself, and feel connected to my heart and to love? And when I've tried to focus only on the physical earth and just, have to be, gritty and just get stuck in, which I'm not saying there isn't a place for that. It's good to kind of be hands-on and physical. But when it was only that, I found myself kind of being drawn away from the earth again and feeling disconnected within myself. On the flip side, if I focused only on the stars, my yearning and longing to return, or focusing only on the beings in these higher frequential realms, or hanging out, too often in like the seventh density with my consciousness, I would also find myself, disconnecting from the earth. So what I've found, and what I would recommend based off of my own experience and my intuition, would be that it's in acting as this bridge, which means inhabiting a certain role or sense of purpose within yourself, having that orientation towards the earth, wanting to help the earth to awaken, having love for Gaia, spending time in nature, spending time with animals, having healthy relationships, friendships, intimate, relationships, personal relationships, as well as orienting with the stars. The alchemization point is in bringing both of those energies down and into this human package, and finding what works for you, which is easier said than done at times, can be of real benefit. Where do you find your joy? How do you want to be of service? Finding that creative spark within yourself that gives you a sense of like motivation and purpose. Pleiadians, like many other starseeds, will have that sense of disconnect within themselves, maybe more noticeable at times than others, because they are not historically of this world. So it's important to find something that makes you feel kind of home, and finding ways to celebrate in that, celebrating the fact of being a human being rather than holding on to the concept or the notion of being only a Pleiadian or only a human being. Okay, I hope that all kind of makes sense. It's been great to make this video and hopefully share some wisdom, some information. Again, I'm no authority on this subject. I just bring through what I feel is relevant, or what I can tap into or tune into. And yeah, if you're interested in a reading, I do offer Akashic readings. That's kind of my main passion and motivation. Speaking of passions and motivations, I do offer Akashic readings. You can reach me at the email address below, and I'd be happy to chat to you if you have any questions about Akashic readings, or I'd be happy to answer emails if you do have any questions about other, spiritual related matters, or if you're going through anything that's maybe challenging or difficult right now with regards to ascension, or having a sense that you are a star seed and you're looking for ways to maybe optimize your life in some way. Just send me an email and I'll get back to you, and we can work together and we can connect. Okay, that's it. So wherever you are in the world, or the multiverse, if you're watching from a comfy couch somewhere sat in the Pleiades, it's been great to be here with you, to connect with you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, much love, peace.